everybody, to the Get Some Games Video Game Awards for 2015. I'm your host, Sean, and I'm here, as always, with Ben.
Hey.
And the newest official member of Get Some Games, Weave.
Yay, I'm here.
Hello.
Hi.
So for those of you that don't know, Get Some Games, we've been doing a weekly video game podcast over the past few months, and today we are doing our Video Game Awards ceremony / weekly podcast episode 9. But we've got 8 categories, and let's just get started starting with first award. We're doing Publisher of the Year, and our nominees are WB, Nintendo, EA, Sony, and Microsoft. So, you guys want to state a case for anybody, or tell me who you think should win? Even though we have a winner, but you want to make a case for other people who you think did, a good job as well.
Well, I think WB did an okay job. If it weren't for their incredibly botched Arkham Knight computer launch, then I would say that they'd have a stronger case. But that was so terrible that... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Didn't they put it up and it didn't work, and then they removed it, and then didn't it also still not work when they put it back up?
I don't know. It probably might have not still worked on some people's systems, but
Yeah, because that's how PC gaming works.
But they mostly fixed. It's all fixed now, but they really screwed up the launch, and they had to have known it couldn't be shipped in that condition, because they pawned it off to some random developer to port the PC version.
Right.
And so they obviously didn't care very much until they got the backlash. They would have left it up there if the complaints were silent,
Yeah. There's no way you can not know that your game is that broken. But our winner is Nintendo. Nintendo had tons and tons of fantastic releases this year, both on 3DS and Wii U. They kind of had a lackluster E3 press conference, but they had great DLC support, especially with Super Smash Bros. And obviously just countless great games that they put out throughout the year. So there you go, Nintendo. And then moving on from there, our next award is the Multiplayer Game of the Year. We've got Rock Band 4, Splatoon, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Halo 5, and Rocket League. And with this one, we think the obvious choice is Rocket League. Everybody fell in love with Rocket League this year. An indie game, kind of out of nowhere, by Psyonix. And this game absolutely blew up. It was free on PlayStation Plus, which definitely helped it. It sold very well on Steam as well, and since it hasn't been free anymore, it's also sold incredibly well on PS4. They release tons of updates, making the game better, and they're great with the community, and they really got something special on their hands, and I think this game's going to be big for quite a long time.
Nice.
Yeah.
I want to say Splatoon is also a good game. I didn't actually play the full version, but I played the beta, and it was very addictive. And I think it breathed new life into the multiplayer shooting genre, which you can always appreciate.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out to Splatoon, because that game was a ton of fun. And shout out to Rock Band. I know people think that you're just the same as every other Rock Band, but that's exactly what we wanted. So keep doing your thing, Rock Band.
Also, I want to give a shout out to actually Call of Duty Black Ops 3, because the multiplayer is better than previous Call of Duty games, and they might have released the best zombie map that they've ever released.
Really?
So, wasn't bad.
Can't you play as M Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold? Can't you play as him in the zombie mode?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty I could have swore I saw there's a zombie mode trailer where there's 5 celebrities that you can play as, and he's one of them. It might have been DLC. I might be dreaming. I don't know.
It might be DLC, because there's only one zombie map, and it's kind of its own self-contained story. So I don't think so.
That's cool.
He really needs to be in.
Yes, Avenged Sevenfold has done so much stuff with Black Ops. They made 2 songs for it. They were in the final credit scene like this, or no, like a special alternate ending in Black Ops 2, I think. Like, they're really all about that Call of Duty,
Yeah.
and I'm really all about them, so that's cool.
Yes. So I think all the choices here are pretty good, but I think it just has to go to Rocket League.
Yeah, I don't think you can find any arguments from there. Weave hasn't exactly played many new games this year. Just pointing that
Nope.
out for when, yeah, because if he doesn't talk much, he'll talk way more in the actual podcast episode this week. So, moving on to best graphics. Now with this one, we, or at least me personally, we called it best graphics and not best art direction or anything like that, best aesthetic or whatever, just because we wanted to point out like the game that made us like say wow because of how realistic it looks. At least this is how I took it into account. Not
Yes.
just like, oh, this game has a beautiful art and direction or anything like that. So it's just purely on like how good and like pushing the power of the systems that they're on.
Right. Highest visual fidelity, basically.
Yeah, there you go.
All these games are gorgeous.
Yeah, we've got The Order 1886, Star Wars Battlefront, Until Dawn, Bloodborne, and The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
And we actually are giving the award for best graphics to Star Wars Battlefront.
Now, I want to say I think like the character models, like the faces, look better in Witcher 3 and Order 1886, and probably the rest of the games. But the environments, like the vehicles, the guns, everything else, looks so good to the point where like the realistic mod version of Star Wars Battlefront really doesn't even look that much better than the regular Battlefront.
Yeah.
So the graphics are incredible, and it's clear that's where they sunk an enormous amount of time, and they really pulled through with that. I don't think you're gonna play any game that looks and feels more like Star Wars than Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah, like for the first couple days I was playing that game, like I found myself just staring at boulders and stuff. Like back when the PS3 and the Xbox 360 first came out, I was just so amazed at their graphics. Like it was such a big jump from PS2 and Xbox, and then I got that same feeling with this game, where like I was actually staring at the rocks or the grass or something like that, where just the environments look absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Sticking with Star Wars Battlefront, our next category is Best Sound Design, where we have Star Wars Battlefront, Bloodborne, Fallout 4, Halo 5, and Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Oh man,
And-
yeah,
No, go ahead.
gotta be Star Wars Battlefront again.
I pretty much agree with this one. I think Bloodborne is just such a very close second with the atmosphere that game creates with the sound, and
Yeah.
but as a collective unit, Star Wars Battlefront is just, they nailed it with that. From the soundtrack to the sounds, it sounds exactly like you're watching a Star Wars movie. And like if you've got either a home theater setup or headphones in, they like the surround sound effects are spot on, and everything in that game sounds fantastic.
Yeah. One note about the sound that doesn't really have much to do with the actual sound design is the voice acting, which is, I don't want to say terrible, but it's kind of bad, right?
At least for the heroes.
For Darth Vader sounds nothing like Darth Vader. Sounds like a guy doing a really bad impression of Darth Vader through like a voice filter.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Dang.
bad.
But other than that
Other
big
than
sore
that.
thumb on the game, everything else fantastic. So, all right, and then we've got best sports game: Madden 16, NHL 16, NBA 2K16, Rocket League, and FIFA 16. And with this one, big shout out to Madden 16, and even bigger shout out to NBA 16 and 2K16. Both those games are amazing, and NBA
Amazing,
almost,
amazing,
yes, amazing.
amazing, Miller.
Yes,
Amazing.
I love sports games, and you'd be hard pressed to find someone that doesn't think NBA 2K16 is a fantastic game.
Amazing though.
Yes, amazing. That game gets 9s across the board every year.
Yeah,
they know what
but
they're doing over there at
Look,
2K.
look who's reviewing them. That doesn't.
What do you mean? Yeah, people that like the game.
Well, like yearly released games like Call of Duty and sports games just tend to always get high review because they have big publishers backing them, so they can,
No.
pay for that.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope. Nope.
Yep.
But anyway, Rocket League, which also is amazing, is getting our award this year. Get Some Games Best Sports Game of 2015 is Rocket League for pretty much every reason that we explained earlier. Rocket League is a great team game, great fun to play. It's just soccer and now a little bit of hockey with the new update, but it's just soccer with cars. And as simple of a concept as that is, it's got like perfect mechanics. Like I really don't know how they can make the game any better. Second to last, most anticipated game of 2016. For this one, we're gonna do it a little differently. We're going to do all three of us are gonna pick our own. And for me, my number one, very easily, Uncharted 4. Naughty Dog refuses to make a game that's not exceptional, and Uncharted is one of my favorite franchises ever, and Uncharted 4 looks like it could possibly be the best one, and it's going to go out with a huge bang.
I'd go with Uncharted 4 also. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm partway through Uncharted 2, and I'm loving it, so very much looking forward to that. Also I'm really looking forward to every game that we have here, except for Gears 4, just because I've never touched the franchise. But Last Guardian, Legend of Zelda, all look great. So, but I think I gotta go with Uncharted 4. Naughty Dog never lets us down.
Nope. All right, Weave. What about you? What game are you most anticipating next year?
I am waiting for The Last Guardian. I've been waiting for that game since it was announced in 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
A 7-year wait for that game, and so
like developers left.
Team Ico obviously is such a big. Just from 2 games that came out 2 generations ago, it still carries that weight today of people like just need to play another game by them. So it's got big shoes to fill. I don't know if it. Do you think that game's even possible to live up to the hype?
Yes.
Yes.
It will get a 10.
All right, we shall. At this point, I think anything less than like a 10 is kind of. I don't know. That
Insulting.
might be a little too harsh. Yeah, that might be a little too harsh. I don't know. We'll see. But all right, final award of the year, Game of the Year 2015. We've got The Witcher 3, Dying Light, Bloodborne, Fallout 4, and Super Mario Maker. You guys want to say your piece about a couple of these games before we declare a winner?
Well, I think what's said about Witcher 3 has, everything that could have been said has already been said. That game is great. Miller, you've sunk a huge number of hours into it. What's your impression of it?
Well, yeah, I've got a huge, compared to a lot of people, not so much, but I put 30 hours into it, which is a lot. And that game is probably one of the first times ever where I've thought this game is overwhelming to me. Like, it seems like there's an infinite amount of side quests, and when you pick a side quest to go on, it spawns off like 3 more side quests. And you obviously have the main quest, and you can be on a side quest riding down the road, and then another random little miscellaneous quest pops up for you to do right then and there, and it's awesome. Like, it's one of the most lived-in worlds I've ever seen in a video game. It's like CD Projekt Red absolutely killed it with this game, and they really brought themselves up as one of the like major developers in the industry. The story didn't interest me too much. I'm not saying it was bad. It being the 3rd game, and I've never read any of the Witcher books or played any of the other previous Witcher games, it was hard for me to get into the story from that point of view. But the combat was a lot of fun. I like how it mixes up magic and melee and just so many different things with it. And it's a beautiful game. The environments look gorgeous for how big it is. It's crazy that they also got it to look that good. It kind of puts Bethesda and Fallout 4 to shame with how filled that world is and how amazing it looks. So I have nothing but praise for Witcher 3, but we got to go with Bloodborne for Game of the Year 2015. Bloodborne is like one of those special games. I know you got your Demon Souls and your Dark Souls that are very similar to it, but I think Bloodborne was like just the peak of what that type of game can be. At least, of course, in my opinion. So, Weave, you played Bloodborne, right? Just for a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
at your house.
yeah, and you're a big Dark Souls fan. You've played those games a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beaten all 3 of them.
Yeah. I those games always seemed like too slow for me. I know like that's the main gripe that everyone is sick of hearing.
The victory you get from the Souls games, like it validates playing it more.
Yeah, like just I spent 3 hours on this one thing and getting to this one thing, and I finally killed this super massive boss, and it's just like the best feeling ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's more methodical in its approach, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I find stuff like that super satisfying too.
Yeah. Like with Bloodborne, when I first started playing it, the game doesn't help you at all. It just, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It just like you're just going down these streets, and at first maybe one or two guys like overwhelm you, and they kill you right away. But then eventually, as you start to learn patterns and you start to learn how the game's mechanic works and you start to really know the environment, you go from just plowing through those one or two guys, and then eventually you run into like a big group of people and you think like, this is impossible, how am I going to do that? But then the game just teaches you so well, and then eventually that big group of people you can just take down in 5 seconds, and it like, but then after that big group of people, there's a giant ogre like on the other side of this door, and then that thing kills you in 2 seconds, and then you have to figure out how to get through that. And it's like, it really is that rewarding system. And the game, it doesn't tell you, like, it doesn't stop and say, okay, this is the giant troll, you've got to do this, this, and this is its weak spot and all this stuff. Like, you just have to figure it out. And like Bloodborne does it so that game is like top-notch gameplay, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
High praise.
Very much so. Get some games. Video game of the year 2015. So that's it for that. And then let's talk about going into 2016. What are some more of your guys' most anticipated games going into 2016? Ben, you can start.
Well, we already said the most anticipated game was Uncharted 4. So that, Ratchet and Clank, Zelda U. I want to say Last Guardian, but I haven't played Shadow of the Colossus or their previous game, Eco. Whatever Metroid game hopefully gets announced. Sonic the Hedgehog's 25th anniversary, I believe. So hopefully we get a good game there. Probably not, but hopefully. That's about it, really. Final Fantasy 15,
You
which
think that'll come out?
no, but it should.
Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe.
Pokken Tournament looks pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
I thought you guys might forget that one. I was gonna say it.
Ooh, but I didn't.
Nope.
Zelda Twilight Princess, which, based on the footage that they showed us, really doesn't look that much better than the original. Like, I thought, even Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time remakes, clearly there's a clear upgrade. With this one, it feels like they did some lighting changes and like up the resolution, and that's it. So it's it looks unremarkable thus far, but there could be some gameplay improvements and streamlining that can make it more fun. So I'm eager to see what they do with that. But that's about it for me.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do, like how with Wind Waker they added a couple things and they tweaked a couple things. They did something big, like adding in the new sail that makes it so you can sail around faster. I'm curious to see if they do something like that big with Twilight Princess. But Weave, why don't you go next? For what games are you looking forward to next year? Besides The Last Guardian, of course.
Yeah. Being a big fan of Attack on Titan, the game that's coming out next year looks pretty fun. It's being made by the Dynasty Warriors team, so that should be good. Doom was the footage I saw at E3 looked incredible.
With Doom, they had the alpha this year, or it might have been the beta. I don't remember, one of the two. But people were really liking that game. It's like the multiplayer they think is, or they're saying like, it's way more throwback. It's not like all the Call of Duty and Battlefield clones now, where it's like you pick your loadout, you pick your everything, you pick your armor, you pick your whatever, and you go out there and everybody just runs around with an assault rifle for 15 minutes. It's like way more throwback, where like you actually pick up weapons on the map, and then of course they've got like the map creator and all that stuff. That game looks That game looks really good. I hope it does well because I'm almost positive it's gonna like deliver. I just hope it does well. Yeah. All right. What else you got?
Dark Souls 3 because it's Dark Souls.
What more needs to be said about Dark Souls?
I'm pretty invested in the Souls series, so I gotta play that when it comes out.
Do you remember if that game's been confirmed to be next gen only, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. If not, it's time. Developers need to just next gen only. Next gen or bust.
They're making the Attack on Titan game for the PS3.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, me
They need
neither.
to drop the old consoles already.
Yeah.
Because it really just holds those games back. Like, Xenoverse could have been even better looking. Could have been something super special if they didn't want to do that. But
Yeah.
I understand why. It's just kind of annoying.
The WWE 2K developer is on record of saying like the PS4 and Xbox One version is worse because they also have to make the PS3 and Xbox 360 version.
Yeah, that just makes sense.
Yeah, so like that, just drop them, make the games better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the whole idea of, it's good for people who can't get the next system for a while, but it holds the games back, and I think that's just bad for the games in general. They shouldn't do it.
Agreed.
Yep. I've got, besides, games that have already been said, Uncharted 4, like I said, is my number one. Horizon Zero Dawn, I think, is a big one. That's probably my most anticipated new IP, if I'm thinking correctly. I'm looking forward to that more than The Last Guardian. Gears of War 4, or Gears 4, if that's just what its title is going to be. Looking forward to that quite a bit because Gears is one of my favorite franchises ever. But Horizon, like, I'm just so excited for that game. All the gameplay demos that they've showed for it have been really good. Sony seems like they're gonna be really getting behind it as its big new IP. Guerrilla has pretty much only made Killzone games for three console generations. So, or 2.5, I guess. So it's just exciting to see them do something completely different with an open world RPG, featuring like big robot dinosaur type things with so many different ways to take them down. It just seems like it's going to be incredibly interesting and incredibly fun. Other than that, you guys have said most of my other ones that I'm looking forward to. Of course, Legend of Zelda Wii U, any NX game that might come out next year, like assuming the NX comes out, and like you got to think that they have at least 2 killer apps in that launch lineup. So anything there, maybe a Metroid game, if you guys get your wish.
I hope so. Nintendo's been mean to Metroid fans.
very, very much so for way too long. And that's pretty much it. Horizon is definitely my big one.
Yeah, that game looks fantastic. It really, really does. I didn't realize it was a Sony exclusive.
Yep. Yeah, Guerrilla Games is making it, and it's PlayStation 4 exclusive.
That's amazing. It looks great. I'm not too thrilled about another open world game, like as a concept, but
yeah,
it looks really good. So that's the most important thing.
Yeah, our open world games have pretty much been beaten to death at this point, but this one looks like it's doing something different with it. Like, it's not just like, it looks like, at least, it's not going to just be like, here's your map and here's your destination. Like, it looks like there's way more exploring to it, and it looks like they emphasize that more, and like the encounters in the wild seem like they matter more. And we don't really know much about the game. I don't think we know anything about the story. Like, we know like the very, very basic minimum detail, but we don't know anything about plot or anything like that, at least as far as I'm aware of.
Oh, my other most anticipated game. Sorry to completely cut you off.
No, go ahead. That's pretty much my list.
Ukulele. Very much looking
Yes.
forward to that. That actually might be my most look forward to game next to Ratchet and Clank and Uncharted.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that one.
I've
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I just been wanting 3D platformers like Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter, Spyro, Crash Bandicoot to come back for so long that I hope we see a resurgence in them with Yooka-Laylee. So, yeah.
So you
October
gotta-
2016 is the expected release date, which is pretty far away, which kind of sucks, but, that's awesome. I'm very
I hope
much...
they hit that date. They better not. They better not delay it.
I
Uncharted
hope
4 got
not.
delayed again.
I know, till April, right?
Yes. So not so bad, but still.
I'd rather them delay it and we get a better game at launch, though.
Oh, of course. Of course.
But it sucks when a game gets delayed, but in this industry, it's almost a good thing.
Yeah. You don't. Even then, even with its delay, it's gonna have a day one patch. It might have day one DLC, maybe. It's gonna be like, it's fine. Like, just release the game when it's ready. Take your time. Give us a great game. Especially with something like this. Like, it's the last Uncharted game. The last thing you want to do is have a bunch of negative press the day it comes out about how it's broken. That would be just awful. Like The Last of Us, do you guys remember like the first half of the first day The Last of Us was out, it had like this big save bug where it wouldn't let you save your game. And some people played for like 5 hours straight without hearing about this and then couldn't save it. So then they had to restart because like there was just no fix until there. But Naughty Dog released the update later that day, thankfully in the same day, and then you could save whatever. But people got really butthurt about that, and it really tainted their first experience of that game.
Because that kind of thing just shouldn't happen. Why? I really miss, like, I sound like an old man, but not old. That I wish
okay.
games could just be released. We could pop it and play, and not have to deal with a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that games didn't have glitches before, but glitches used to be like endearing. They were never like. They usually weren't game breaking. At least with the games that were good, they were good from the beginning, right? Like now, it's like, oh, we got these day one patches. We got this. We got that. It's like it's great, like that we can do that now, but. It's a shame that publishers feel like we could just release games in whatever state we want because we could just fix them later. I think that's a terrible mentality, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's patches are a blessing, but like you said, developers just totally ruined it. Kind
Publishers,
of. What would I say?
developers.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, publishers like ruined it by like probably putting these really strict deadlines on these games, and just like. Have you guys ever heard the story about Metroid Other M? There's a game-breaking bug in that game, like literally game-breaking. Like you'll get stuck in a room and cannot progress forward. And the only
I heard about that.
Yeah, the only way to fix it is if you send your memory card to Nintendo and they fix your save data.
Oh goodness.
And then they send it back because the Wii doesn't have firmware updates. But now in 2015, I bought a TV today and I had to update my TV's firmware so the HDMI ports would work. Like that's just
You had a TV and the HDMI ports weren't working?
yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but
I'm sorry, that's ridiculous.
But I updated the firmware and they worked perfectly fine.
I was gonna say you spent like $2,000 on this beautiful TV and the HDMI. Like what?
Yeah,
That's insanity.
Yeah, it is bad. I was like, I thought it was some kind of random other issue, but I called Sony. They're like, no, just update the firmware. What? What if I don't have internet? I just don't have a TV.
Though I think it stands to reason if you could afford to get that kind of TV, you have internet.
Yeah,
But-
that's true.
That said, that's just ridiculous. Like that irritates me like more than
Yeah.
anything else we've talked about a month.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
I just think that's insane. But anyways,
Yeah, so you gotta update your firmware, people. But that's pretty much it. That's our Get Some Games 2015 Video Game Awards, Game of the Year, Bloodborne, and of course, shout out to all the other categories. But that's not it for us this week. We are also doing our regular, very bite-sized podcast episode number 9 this week. So it's releasing at the same time as this. So check that out right here. I'll link it in the video. And thank you guys for joining me. And thank you very much for listening. And until next time, we're out.